Welcome, everyone, to Analytics Are For the Nerds, a comedy dynasty football podcast. It's April 15th, so it's tax day, and I'm getting a refund. Let's go.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
What is your day looking like right now? Like
just Philadelphia cream cheese.
So my wife asked me to stop singing Wonderwall all the time, and I said maybe.
What does a nosy pepper do?
What?
It gets jalapeno business.
I need her forever. She got a life, Louis. She's a person. It's not about you, dude.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Let's talk what we're grateful for.
She didn't understand inflation. I got $5 for every Christmas from fucking 1984 to 1994.
You hang out enough. You copy each other's facial hair, and the double mustache and that is fucking gross. So welcome.
I do want to be clear, though, that I have earned one, and Lou is depressed. There's a big difference. Lou is still trying to convince 16-year-olds he's cool, and they keep telling him they don't want weed from him. They can get it from anywhere. So, there's a difference between mine and his.
I still love that weed comment every time. It's so funny. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you doing? Happy tax day.
Anyone first, I right off the bat, I felt that was personal. I felt that was like you trolling me. I'm getting a refund. I'm like sitting here in tax hell lately, and you're just like, oh, I'm getting a refund. I felt like you did that on purpose. But maybe there won't be an IRS soon. So,
Storm, come on. Ryan, your tax day okay?
Yeah, hanging in there. Got a bit of the sniffles. Just got passed around whatever this cold is here. So gonna. This is like the Jordan flu game for me here. So we'll see if I can pull through.
This is your 23rd time. Yeah, poor thing. Right in time for a nice day off, potentially. Do you guys get off Friday? Are you giving your people off Friday, Lou? Or
they don't even know it. Zero chance any of my employees know it's Easter on Sunday. Zero. Absolutely 0% chance. That's funny though. I will say this. I always make little personal bets on your open and what you're going to say. Very surprising that you did. I had you nailed as saying it was going to be Jackie Robinson Day. And, I thought that was where I thought I had you nailed. And you went tax day and you went depressing. You could have went uplifting, but no, I get it.
It is Jackie Robinson Day. I thought they would do something more with a 4 and a 2, not a 1 and a 5. But it does equal 6 if you're counting. But okay. It's interesting that. And he gets
it's because when he played, when he started, it was the day that he started.
Yeah, most players started on 4/15.
In hindsight, he really should have started on April 2nd if he wanted to have a cool, commemorative day. That would
right. But yes, it is Jackie Robinson Day. I should have worn my Jackie Robinson shirt. How everyone's 2 days into the week? Good. It's weird on a Tuesday, not a Wednesday, right? No, not for anyone.
Sorry, I was waiting for Ryan to say something. No, it's even weirder. Ryan and I recorded our first episode of From This Point Forward, our Sabres podcast that we did last night with Chris Plumer, and so we 2 days in a row. So things are this week seems overloaded already, and it's not even hump day.
Yeah, if I seem like I'm not speaking as much tonight, it's just because I ran out of things to say. I gave it all last night, and I no longer have content. So
you're not watching the game right now, is what you're saying. That is exactly. On literally right now. Okay. Yeah. I'm excited to tune into your podcast.
The season's over, everybody. We know that.
It's I'm excited. You all have very good insights, so that's going to be great. And we all know Plumer loves hockey. You both go, so it's everyone take a listen. Can't wait for the postseason. Are you guys doing anything with the Calder Cup at all with the Amherst, since there's so many?
No, I think that would be fun to dive into next week, because the team's been great. I know you've been down there a few times to host games this year, and they'll be fun to watch. I'll be excited to watch them, just to watch competitive hockey with players that technically play for the organization that I love. So I'll watch that run. Hopefully it lasts a while, and hopefully they get some real playoff experience.
I love the Levi 0 goals / alcohol can that Budweiser game. That was great. I thought that
was pretty cool.
But save it for your pod. Okay, so on to ours. Let's talk politics. No, let's talk everything and nothing. This is where we talk about everything and nothing. A lot of things with pop culture, some things with sports. This one is not sport related. It's friendship related. So a dog groomer turned wedding photographer agreed to shoot his friend's wedding for $250. He worked from 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. in a hot venue with no AC and was given no food or water. This sounds like a math problem. It's not. At 5 p.m., he asked for a 20-minute break to eat, right? But the groom refused, saying either you're the photographer or you leave without pay. So the friend photographer, dog photographer, now wedding photographer, frustrated, deleted all the wedding photos in front of the groom and walked out. I'm not your photographer anymore.
That's pretty great.
Yes. So what do you think? Do you think that's a right move? I mean, Ryan, your face looks insane. Is he liable or like what?
Well, first of all, what kind of advice was this guy getting when someone was like, "Hey, I might become a wedding photographer. What should I do this for?" And someone's like, "Yeah, do it for $250." I mean, that is instantly no longer your friend. I mean, come on, that's horrible advice. You can get probably 10 times that easily to do that, probably more. So look.
You get what you paid for.
This is exactly why this guy is probably going to go back to being a dog photographer, right? Way better clients, doesn't have to deal with, the people, right? So, I mean, that's pretty bad. I don't blame the photographer. Come on, you got to throw a bone to this guy, right? No pun intended. Give him a wedding plate. Come on, chalk it up. I know it's basically probably, half the cost of what you were paying that guy, but come on.
We don't know why they got in the argument though at first. Like I could just see this guy going around with like a handful of biscuits, just going like at the wedding, going, "Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl?" And just like telling like the mother of the bride, like it's so funny.
Speak first.
He's got little speakers.
She's a good girl. We were just talking about how expensive brunch is for 7 people before the show started. So $250, that would your family would not be able to, like, that's not even to cover your family for brunch, Louis. So
that's not enough. No.
Yeah.
Real terrible funny. Friend. I don't know.
Don't help
terrible
your friend.
Terrible friend for sure. The move, pretty drastic. That's pretty drastic, but again, people should get penalized for making shitty decisions, and only paying somebody $250 to capture your most important day until the divorce party is.
Listen, accepting that job is equally as bad, I think. I mean, come on, what are you doing? You kind of you get what you ask for, right? You get what you pay for, you get what you're paid. So I don't know.
I think the more fun thing to do besides that, I get the rage. I'm assuming he's a fellow Irishman. I get the rage. Like what? But you don't you're not being babysat. You can walk around the party, take photos. What I would have done. And this will be a follow-up question for you guys. What would you do? I would have just taken bad photos, unflattering photos, and then just do it that way. So be like, "Oh, I got your photos for you." And then, so if you lost $250, you'd probably laugh a little bit because you have the kiss picture, you have like this, or just take or just take like 60 pictures of the weird uncle or something, like our feet. I think there's so many ways like he could have made more take pictures of the family dog. Like um, you know, there's so many ways around it. Do you guys have anything you would have done differently besides delete everything?
I would have taken only pictures of the staff. Just,
Yes.
just pictures of everyone like serving, like them serving and smiling, but like not. I would make it perfectly like not one person, not one guest got in any picture, or
Oh,
if
yeah.
they were, it would be like one of those blurred, in the backgrounds. But it would all be about like the servers just smiling.
I like the idea of just like the most annoying framing of every picture, right? Like somebody's arm is chopped off, it's like half of somebody's face. Like you're just going through these pictures like, was this, I mean, this has to be intentional, right? Like this guy can't be this bad at taking pictures. Yeah, I think that's probably the move.
I think he could have had more fun with it. So though, yeah. So anyway, but I think that's such a nerve-wracking story. Pay your friends, people. Pay your friends.
That's
Okay.
why you don't work for friends.
Don't work for friends. But also thank you for fixing my roof that one time, Louis. And Ryan, I think you're my get out of jail lawyer. Like you could. Okay, well,
Yeah, it's not gotten to that point yet, but then the podcast will end. So
I'm painfully boring. So thank you. Okay, so Vin Diesel, his real name is Mark. Louis, would you still smooch a guy named Mark?
No, I would not smooch a guy named Vin or Mark. That's not anything against guys, people that want to smooch guys. It is weird. He doesn't, but now a Mark with a C is kind of more badass than a Mark with a K. So
I know,
which one is
very
he?
cool Mark with a C, like very, very cool Mark with a C.
Yes.
But it's not even against Marks. I have an uncle named Mark. I have friends named Marks. They're great Marks in the world. But Vin Diesel as a Mark is just he's with a K. Mark with a hard K.
Oh, see, now those are uncles. Marks with a K are uncles. Marks with a C, I think, like could have some street cred, but Marks with a K, that's your.
Well, I don't know if this will change your opinion, but my middle name is a Mark with a C. So do you still? Does that make does that add up, or does it hurt the case? I don't know.
There you go.
Now I'm all fucked up. Now I don't know what to think.
Oh my gosh, would you kiss the Mark, right?
No, I would not. I just want to know what went through. First of all, you ever like you meet these people that have like nicknames or like shortened names that aren't like based on what the previous name is? Like where do you get Vin from Mark? Like, did he think that, Mark Diesel just didn't sound hardcore enough? So he's like, no, I got to go Vin. What is the move there?
Well, it was Mark Sinclair, which does kind of sound like a porn name. A little bit, right? Mark Sinclair. Or like a really very bad detective from like I don't know, the 70s.
I would like trust Mark Sinclair with like a hedge fund for sure. Like he could run a hedge fund.
Mark 100%. Or like Mark Sinclair could be like a Dick Tracy bad guy too. Like I feel like every bad guy was like a kind of like a mafioso, but like like a nerdy one. Like, yeah, I'll tell you what you're doing. Yeah, that little twangy. Yeah.
I just I still yeah, it's such a weird thing. I don't I love when people have like the not weird names, like they're born names, but yeah, I don't know if I would still buy a movie ticket to a Mark Sinclair movie, but I just don't care about, and this is your co-host Chris Plumer loves these, but the Fast and the Furious, I just don't know, starring Mark.
I think if I bought a ticket to a Mark Sinclair movie, I think I would presume it's like about piano playing or something. Like it doesn't sound. You're right. It does not sound hardcore enough. I think he made the right move.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: I didn't think his name was Vin Diesel, but I did not know that his name. I didn't know what his real name was, so you taught me something as you normally do.
I guess I can do one more, but this is just another history fact. The Titanic sank 113 years ago yesterday, which seems about right. I saw this post and it was like, guys, can you believe it? I'm like, yeah, you actually can. It was very long. It was a very long time ago. so long ago where like boats didn't float, like they would hit things and then sink. Like that was a long time ago. So I'm not really surprised by it, but I don't know, Titanic fans, are you in the lore? Do you love the Titanic stuff?
I'm glad that you did that this week and not last week, because my kid was on a cruise all week with her mother. Like without me there, I would have been freaking out if you would have done that last week. Our listener, Jesse, who we all know, said, little known fact, Vin Baker was named after Vin Diesel. I will say this, 90% of the time Jesse says anything, it's absolutely wrong. And if he says he's 100% right, he's 100% wrong. But so I will take that with a grain of salt. But look it up at some point in the show and see if you can't confirm Jesse was right, so I could give him his props.
The last name is Vin what again?
Vin Baker. He was a basketball player for the Bucks, Celtics, maybe a few different teams. I think he went to Michigan, if I remember right. Rye, help me out at all.
Listen, I know zero things about Vin Baker. I've never heard of that guy. Yeah.
Vin Baker, 42 sounds right. As a number. Power forward. Yeah. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It could have been Mark Baker. Still kind of
yeah.
He
could have been Mark Baker this whole time.
I'm so into it. That's all we're going to talk pop culture today. If you guys,
all right, that's cool.
Stories. So we are going to do a very fun and potentially long draft, but again, we are a Dynasty football podcast, everyone. So we are going to draft only skill positions in the first round draft. So Ryan and Louie, you're going to alternate back and forth, and you're going to pick only skill players. So quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. I am going to go in the actual order of the draft. So obviously we're just going to do round one for everyone's time.
We're doing all 7 rounds. No, we're going round one, and we'll do, obviously, especially with defense being so strong this year, I would assume that there's going to be more defensive players and offensive players picked in the real NFL draft in the first round. So this is a really fun way to kind of talk about 32 different players and actually see where they might fit later in the draft. Even though they wouldn't be picked in the first, maybe these are teams that will target these guys later on. So should be fun. Think Brian's got the odds, right? So
I do. Yeah, I got the first pick. And I think technically skill position players doesn't usually include quarterbacks, but we're going to include it here because I think it makes it more fun, especially knowing that the Titans are very obviously going to take a quarterback. And I'll start us off here. Cam Ward is the first pick. It's a need. It's seemingly throughout the process separated himself as the clear one on most consensus boards. They got to take a swing at a quarterback. They're not going to hopefully be here very long, right? They don't want to come back and be at the number 1 pick again. So yeah, makes sense. Cam Ward.
All right, Lou, you get the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, that's gonna be Travis Hunter for me here. I think that there could be a lot of different ways. I have personal hate for Shedeur Sanders, which I'll probably mention 10 more times here in the next 10 opportunities I have to not pick him. But I do think it's starting to look like that's going to happen in real life, the Travis Hunter pick. And, he's by far the best athlete in this draft. And if I can draft him as a wide receiver here in this thing, because he's considered one, I'm in for him 1-2.
All right, Ryan, you have round 3, the New York Giants.
Listen, I think the buzz about this pick has gone, a little haywire lately. I'm going to pick Shedeur Sanders here. I still think that at the end of the day, if we're going to pick a skill position player of all the players that are currently available, the only one that makes sense for this roster, in my opinion, is Shedeur. And here's why. If you accept for a second that he is the second best quarterback in the class, which, I think there would be a lot of people who will still argue that they have a need. And again, you're picking at the top of the draft. Your other quarterbacks on the roster are Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, stopgaps at best. So take the quarterback and don't be cute about it. So that's my pick, Shedeur.
All right. Good call. Lou, you get pick number 4. You get the Patriots.
Yeah, I think in real life we'll see them end up taking an offensive lineman here if Hunter doesn't fall to him. But seeing that we can't take offensive lineman here, I think their biggest need is a wide receiver, and so I will go McMillan here at the number 4 pick for the Pats.
All right. Ryan, you have the 5th pick, which is the Jags.
All right, let's get fun here. We are doing a draft where we're picking skill position players, and I think the best skill position player in the entire draft is still available. And why the hell not? Let's put Ashton Jeanty on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why not? I mean, listen, he is a difference maker. And could you not see Liam Cohen just saying, you know what? Everything else be damned. We already have our number one receiver. We already have our quarterback. Let's go take Genty and just change this offense. I could see it. I would get behind it immediately. I mean, that would be such a fun landing spot, I think. So, yeah, Genty 5, Jacksonville.
I don't hate that at all. I probably should have went him even at 4 with New England, but yeah, no, good pick.
All right, pick number 6, Louis, you have Las Vegas.
So obviously, Jainty is going to probably be. I should say probably. I think I think he's the favorite to go there in the real draft. I still think 6 is so high to draft him. I really do believe in all of his generational talent and all that, but 6 feels high for running back. Whatever. I think he ends up in Vegas real, but seeing that you just took him here, I'll go the next best running back, and that would be Omarion Hampton. With the to the Raiders. So,
all right, Ryan, you have pick 7, which is the New York Jets.
Well, so far it's gone exactly according to my board. I know I get half the picks here, but Lou is falling in line with the other picks that I've predicted here when I ran through my simulation. So my next pick, I think he's going to be on board with this too, knowing what he feels about this player. Tyler Warren is the pick for the New York Jets. It fills a huge need. They have not had a legit. I mean, I know they had Tyler Conklin there for a while and he was fine, but I mean, come on, I'm talking about a legit, difference maker at the position. And, by all accounts, Tyler Warren's going to be a top 10 pick. So I think this may actually happen in the real draft or perhaps a little trade back. So yeah, I think this is live. Tyler Warren, tight end, New York Jets.
All right.
I love it. Yeah, I think that's a very strong possibility for the real draft. I think he could end up there even without the caveats that we're playing with.
Right, Louis, 8, which is the Panthers.
All right, for the Panthers here, I think they could go a couple ways, but I think it's obvious that out of the 4 positions, wide receivers, their number 1 need. So then it's just kind of like which one fits there the most. I don't like Golden that much as a prospect, but I do think he fits here because he brings something that team doesn't that really they don't have at the wide receiver position, and he would give Bryce that that down the field target. So I'll go Golden here. I would be if I was the Panthers, if I'm really putting this pick in as a Panthers GM, I wouldn't be ecstatic, but I think seeing the board as is, that makes the most sense here.
All right, Ryan, you are pick number 9 with the New Orleans Saints.
8 for 8 on my picks so far. I'm going to throw some shockwaves here into the system. I don't think Louis would have had this next one pinned. Or maybe he does. I think he may be considered quarterback here, which is what I'm doing, but I don't think he would go with my selection, which is Jalen Milroe. I think that if you are New Orleans and you are basically nowhere, you should take the shot on the quarterback that has the best chance of being lightning in a bottle. I mean, what is Jackson Dart going to do for your roster right now? Not much. I don't think. So go out and take a swing and go get the guy that could be just like, I mean, are we really going to do Tyler Shuck instead? You're going to, go get a guy. Go get a guy. Yeah. Stay right there and pick him at 9 or trade back and pick him later in the first. I would love this in the real life if in real life if this happened.
I like it. I mean, in this specific draft. I don't know if I would like it if they did that in the real draft. But
I mean, you would not put money on it, listeners. That's what
yeah, I think that your reasoning is really good. I think he's the one guy, and that's going to be kind of forgotten about here, and maybe a third rounder. I think he might sneak in the second round, but he feels like he has the most potential out of anybody not named Cam Ward to me, to be perfect. The most upside outside of Cam Ward to me. And I honestly don't even think Cam Ward has that much upside. So he might be the one, right? Like, I hate this quarterback class. I might find him a couple times in the second round, depending on where his spot is in super flex drafts. But yeah, good pick.
All right. With pick number 10, Louis, you have the Chicago Bears.
So crazy how tough the Bears are, right? Because they really don't, quote unquote, need a skill position, which is kind of insane to say out loud. But if I had to rank them, I think running back is probably their top. So to get Travion Henderson here in the 10th pick in a all skills players draft, third best running back, I think that's a pretty good buy for them. So I'd go Travion Henderson, who I really, really like as a prospect. And I think he's one of those guys that even if he goes to one of those spots for us this year that doesn't feel great as a perfect spot, I think he'll eventually, take over maybe in 2026 or something. I think he's got a very good projection for his career.
All right. With pick number 11, Ryan, you have the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I love that pick, Lou. So far, again, falling right in line with what I would anticipate. I think you're right on with their need. And I mean, Henderson, just draft Travion Henderson if you can. My next pick, I'm going to look for the Deebo Samuel replacement, and it may not seem like I'm actually a little bit concerned about some of the underlying numbers I'm seeing about this prospect at wide receiver regarding the yards after catch, actually. But that's what I think they're going to try to replace. Ayuk is, who knows how long he's going to be there. Jennings is already, I think, 27 or 28. And yes, they have Pearsall, but I could see them taking a receiver, even in the second. So I'm going to give them Luther Burden here. I know it's maybe not the next consensus receiver. Ibuka seems to be, pretty much towards the end of that first there, but I think he fits more with what they would want to do and how they would deploy him as like kind of a weapon, right? And I would love that landing spot if he ends up there.
Okay, Louis, pick number 12, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and the Dallas Cowboys are upset with Ryan Mira's pick. I would have went Burden there for them. I think running back and wide receivers are pretty close need for the Cowboys based off of what it would be. If Burden was there, I would have went Burden because I have him just as a little bit higher of a prospect than this guy, who I will take, and I'll take Judkins here for the Cowboys. I think it makes sense for them for the need and where he ranks given the rest of the running backs. To be perfectly honest, I like a lot of the other running backs at their current value compared to Judkins, but just kind of following where these guys are projected and ranking, I think the Cowboys would be really happy to take them here with this pick. 2 Ohio State guys and 3 picks, huh, Ray?
Look, I love Judkins. I think he's going to be a smash in the league. And again, that's also who I had panned for the Cowboys after taking Burden at 11. 13 with Miami. I love the thought of who they're going to add at skill position. Tight end, I can't do it with Jonnu there. I actually think this is a sneaky team for running back, in the first couple of rounds, not because they don't trust Jalen Wright, but Jalen Wright is, I think, like the Achane, replacement, right? They need something else in that backfield like they used to have with Mostert, right? They want kind of the guy that can maybe handle some of the workload between the tackles. And someone that's generating a lot of buzz lately is Cam Scatterbo. And I think with his like contact balance and a Mike McDaniel scheme, that would be really, really fun. So give me Cam Scatterbo to the Miami Dolphins.
What a great name too.
I like that. I don't hate that. Yeah, Cam Scatterbo is a great name.
It sounds like a jazz player's like scabba bop. It's just
Yeah,
Oh.
he's fun.
With pick number 14, we're not even halfway through. Indiana.
Yeah, I think the Colts. If this guy was on the board in the real NFL draft, when they're up, they're gonna run to, and that's Loveland. Loveland makes way too much sense here for the Colts. I think they're probably their top target in the actual draft. I think they'd be happy if him or Warren fall to him, but I think they'll take one of the two tight ends. Smash pick, Loveland.
Agreed. Yeah. Seconded.
All right. With the pick 15, Atlanta.
Atlanta strikes me as a team that, of the skill positions, the one that they're most likely to add is receiver. I think, yes, Mooney was really nice last year, and they got really good production out of McLeod, but they need kind of another option behind London in that passing offense, especially with a young quarterback. So give me Ibuka here. I think he makes a ton of sense. If you're looking for a reliable target earner next to Drake London, who could kind of be your dominant, alpha, I think he would work really well in this offense. As much as I like Ibuka on Houston, I just couldn't, look at just passing him up for another couple picks. So,
yeah.
All right. With pick 16, Cardinals.
Again, I think this isn't like crazy to think that this is a realistic pick for them in the first round, although I think they have bigger needs elsewhere. But I'm going Jaden Higgins here. I think, I think if you had to pick a skilled position for them, it would be wide receiver. And I think Higgins is honestly better than your boy from Ohio State that I won't try to say his name, Ibuka. But yeah, so I'd be glad to get Jaden Higgins here for them. And yeah, move on. That's all I got to say about that.
All I got to say about that. What about pick 17, Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, I think they're punching the table and upset that they didn't get Loveland to fall a couple extra picks, but they get what they believe is the next best option, and maybe in that next tier beneath them. Let's go Mason Taylor, tight end, LSU to Cincinnati. I mean, it makes so much sense. Yes, they need a complement to Chase Brown, but they probably can get that later in the draft. So yeah, tight end makes sense.
With pick 18, Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, they're another tough one here. I think the wide receiver after the Metcalf move is the biggest. I think that there's one that is I think the guy that would work best for them is not the best wide receiver left on the board, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go Royals here just because I think he fits what they need. I do think that there's a slot wide receiver that I have a little bit higher than him, but I think Royals would be a decent fit for the Seahawks, and somebody, obviously we're getting to the point in the round that these guys are not going to be first rounders, but definitely a spot that he can go to in the later rounds.
All right, with pick number 19, the Seahawks. I'm sorry.
No,
the Bucks.
It's Buccaneers.
All right. So I think the Buccaneers could go running back here because I think they want someone next to Bucky. I think actually Rachaad White's a pretty good trade candidate right now. So I think they're going to go Caleb Johnson here. Originally, I had RJ Harvey in there as the Pats catching back, but I think Caleb is probably the better all-around player, and maybe they just try to, 1A and 1B, that situation. So Caleb Johnson's a pick.
All right. Pick 20, Denver Broncos.
Broncos can't be happier that you took the worst running back in the top 10 or 12 or whatever you want to call him. I don't even think he's in there. That's my clear-cut bust of the draft class. I've said it over and over again. But I'm going to go – I like RJ Harvey here, but I'm going to go Giddens. I just think he's more of an all every down back, and that's what the Broncos need right now. So I'll go Giddens here. Broncos at 20.
All right. With pick 21, Pittsburgh.
Well, here's a very likely possibility in the first round. If this is, how it lines up, and he falls here. Jackson Dart, 21. The Steelers, they need something. If Aaron Rodgers shows up there, great. That's 1 year, if that. So get someone in the system.
Yeah, like you said, that's a very strong possibility that might even really happen. Sorry, where am I at, Ellie?
You are pick 22, the LA Chargers.
Man, they're going to be disappointed that the tight end run, but Fannin Jr. not a horrible consolation here. A lot of hype on him, and then kind of all went away and he didn't do great at the combine and all that. But I still want to believe in tight end school and all that jazz, and I think he's going to still be somebody in these tight end premium leagues that I'll probably have over this next level of running backs. I probably have a little bit higher in fantasy, but this next level of wide receivers, I really don't trust at all. So I don't know if it's going to be between guys like him and Arroyo and stuff like that, and these tight end premium leagues, I might take chances on them. But the Chargers need somebody. They'll go Fannin Jr. here.
All right, Ryan, with your pick 23, Green Bay Packers.
Well, speaking of positions of need, I don't think it's any secret that the Packers are looking for a wide receiver. Comments about the status of that room in this offseason. So they're going to finally take a first round receiver here. Not really, but in this mock we're doing it. Jalen Noel. I'm gonna have him taking Jalen Noel. I'm looking just for highest ceiling of those guys that are left. So that's why he ends up there.
Sure.
All right, Lou, pick 24, Vikings.
The exact opposite of what they have in Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go Tootin here. Or sorry, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones. They're going to have good speed. And I think he could really be a really fun tool for a guy like O'Connell to have that type of weapon. Let's give them Tootin and watch that offense cook.
Let's see what you did there. Ryan, pick 600. Pick 25, Houston.
Yeah, look, I think they very desperately need a receiver. I think, but just given this exercise, a lot of the ones that I would have pinned for Houston are off the board. And I still think if we're looking at, comparing the position groups, there's still some better talents available at running back. So I'm going to go ahead and grab RJ Harvey here for Houston to complement Joe Mixon. Yes, they got a lot of production last year, but he's old. So,
okay, love that dinger. With pick 26, the LA Rams.
I think you might. I don't know. I'm playing the player, not so much the board. And I don't want to do that. I want to play my board to be true, but I'm thinking of what Ryan might pick here with the Ravens. But I'm going to do. I'm going to go Elijah Arroyo here. Rams desperately needed tight end. I think that there's one other guy outside of Arroyo that should be drafted in this thing as a tight end. And so they got to get one. They'll go Elijah Arroyo here.
All right. We're getting close. Ryan, pick 27, Baltimore.
Well, I think I know exactly who he was going to try to get back around to pick 28. And unfortunately, Lou, for you, it's not going to happen. He was a former flavor of the week, but Jack Besh is the pick. It's a need. It makes sense. He would fit in really well with that team too. I think, in the second round, look out for the Ravens and Jack Besh if he's still available. So, Bateman, Flowers, and Besh, that's pretty good.
They got Hopkins though too. I know he's at the end of his career, but that's the only reason why I thought you might not go Ravens. But you
All right,
do you, Doug.
With 28th pick, Detroit.
Yeah, well, they needed their top need is a wide receiver, so I was hoping to get back there. He would be perfect in the slot for them. I'm going to get the last guy that I have on my wide receiver list, though, for them, and hopefully I don't need another one in this draft. But Trey Harris will go to the Lions here just because I do think it's pretty obvious that that's their main need. out of the skill position. So he's really the last wide receiver before a pretty big drop off for me. So Trey Harris.
All right, Ryan with the 29th pick, Washington.
Washington. What did I do for Washington? Because my phone just died, so now I'm going off of memory.
You just traded for a next year draft pick.
Yeah, exactly. I'm confident I went running back. I don't remember which running back I would have went with right now, but just based on who I can remember is still available. Let's go with so they need a pass catching running back too. They have Ryan Robinson, and Eckler is probably going to get phased out. So let's give them Tootin's still available, right?
No, I took him for the Vikings.
Oh, you did. That's right. And when they have Jordan Mason there too, I didn't.
Yeah.
I will go with. Let's just go Taj Brooks then. Matt Waldman favorite. This definitely would not be a first round, maybe a fifth round pick, but be good pass catching back. So would be kind of fun in that offense.
All right. And then Louis is probably can't even control his excitement with pick 30, the Buffalo Bills.
Devin Neal, baby. James Cook could get his ass out of town. Devin Neal, me, Pat Crane. I've been telling you about this guy. Maybe Pat Crane, and then a lot me after Pat Crane, but whatever. We've been telling you about Devin Neal. Watch out for this guy. He's going to be a Buffalo Bill now. James Cook, pack your bags. We don't need your Instagrams and your cryptic messages. Just get out and let my boy cook. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that again. Yes, Devin Neal to the Bills.
All right. Pick 31, Kansas City Chiefs, Ryan.
I also think the Kansas City Chiefs should be adding to the running back room. It's not, Pacheco is looking like he's going to break down again, and they need some life into that offense, at that position. So I'm going to go with Dylan Sampson here. I think as far as like the remaining backs, I know you're not a big fan, Lou, but of the remaining backs, I think he's like the best of the all around potential backs. So take a shot on that and see what he can do.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good.
And with the final of this round, pick number 32, Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I think that you can probably justify almost any position just because of one age of Barkley. They took Hurts when they had Wentz, and that worked out. So quarterback wouldn't be crazy. They could probably use a third wide receiver, but I think tight end's probably the closest to a real need that they have. And I got one guy on my tight end list that I'm like going to be a little bit intrigued by in these drafts and where he goes. Oronde Gadsden. You know how I am about. I will always scream about pedigree, and if I like these guys that have had dads and uncles in the league because I just feel like it passes through them. Don't look at Thaddeus Moss or other guys I fall in love with, but I do like Oronde Gadsden Jr. here as the pick for the Eagles at 32. Look at us.
Look at us. And then I'm sure you all heard what the Eagles did for Nick Sirianni for his present. You guys see what he did? He the team bought him. So Nick is from Jamestown, New York, which is less than an hour away from Buffalo, and they bought basically a house, which is going to be basically a shelter for homeless teens. Ryan's throwing up right now. Weird, Ryan. But it's very sweet. So they did that in honor of him, which is kind of nice. Not that he was a homeless teen, but it's a very sweet thing to do that in his honor in his hometown. But yeah, that was 6 minutes long.
It
was a lot of time.
It was a long time.
It was so much. And there you go. Okay. I'm just going to, you don't have, I was producing. You guys have look at me just.
You did. You did. You had production skill. You were on top of the pick. I didn't know what pick I had. You were on it. That's it.
Perfect. So, we are now drafting a draft. So we are going to do our best drafts. And I hope we get a good order because that was a lot of work. But,
I'm doing
would
this.
you be able to, with your very your rock, paper, scissors computer, and tell us
All right, Ellie, you got the first pick. I got the second pick, and Ryan, you got the third pick and the swing around. So, Ellie with the first pick of the draft.
which is kind of also bad because where this is all sitting. And if any of you take any of mine, I'm going to cut you because I have only picked 4. Okay, so my number 1 draft in the draft is draft beer.
Fuck you, dude. I like legit. I knew that if you had the number 1 pick, I thought Ryan might not get there, but I thought if you had the number 1, you were going to get it. And now you shorten my very small mock draft.
Guess what? Ryan's still going to win.
Yeah. Yeah, he always does.
He doesn't even do anything. He'll still win.
I said this kind of in our text today, so you might already have expected it coming. But for our people, I'll say I'm going to go backdraft the movie. I think it's what inspired our good friend Kyle Turner to go save lives. Great movie about firefighters, and there's just sad shit at the end and all that. But good movie. Backdraft belongs on this list. I don't know if this high.
Ryan, are you frozen, Ryan?
All right. I think that might be one of the worst 102 picks of all time. To have backdraft the movie as a first round pick in any draft is no. So all right. I'm back. I hope you guys can hear me. Not exactly sure.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead
yeah.
pick.
Ryan,
It is I mean, come on.
Uh-oh.
All right. It's the Dynasty Startup Draft. I mean,
okay, that's fair.
What? Yeah, I mean, it's the best. It's the 1-on-1 for me easily, even ahead of draft beer. I mean, the startup draft day of a fantasy league is like, for me, it's like one of the best days of the year. So that's my 1-on-1, and then followed closely by the NFL draft itself, because that is also awesome. So I'm going to just take both of the juggernauts, the fantasy football startup draft and the NFL draft.
Sure. If you want to win, I guess. Yeah, I guess if you want to win. I'm going to go with my second pick. I'm going to go with underdog best ball mania draft. Baby, come back. Come back to me, baby, come back. I really need underdog back in New York State. We miss you. I don't know what to do in between to fall asleep anymore. We need underdog in our life before best ball mania fills, because I don't know what I'll do without that chase all year. But right now we're just praying, but it does not look good. I did apply for a job with them today.
Ooh.
I'll tell you more about that later, but did apply for a job. So maybe if I can't play anymore, I'll be able to work for them. We'll see.
Or they can be a sponsor and still pay you. All right. So my number 3 is going to be
no, number 2.
I mean, that's number 2.
Yeah. It's like, don't try to skip.
Watch out, everyone that votes for Ryan, because I'm coming in hot. Is the Vietnam War draft. Uh-huh. Yep,
that all of your boyfriends were in.
Yep.
That was good. That was so good. I can't wait to clip that later.
Right, boomers, you're all mine. Vietnam draft, man, that was a bonker. It's not a fun fact, it's a sad fact, but I love the number 13. That was actually my dad's draft number. But it's and he survived because he escaped to Canada. Shout out to Canada, specifically Nova Scotia.
It would have been so funny. Like, he escaped because he did some real gay shit.
No, you met my dad. He would not.
No. If he just heard what I said, he would fight me, I think, right now.
Yeah, no, he would shout out a limerick and then just run. And you're like, what? Yeah, he's the best. I'm very grateful for that 13 and for Canada. And then I'm just gonna kill it with the third pick. Best draft is a house draft when you're like, oh, what's that? Is that a ghost? No, it's just my creaky old house. And it's just a weird wind in your house, which is so goofy. Like, fix it. Go call Louie's company. He can fix drafts in your house. And I just think drafts are they're fun. They prove that insulation is good. It's a good investment. And yeah, as a woman, I'm always cold. So like drafts are like associated with me. So
I was gonna say I've never had a house draft be like, you know what, this is awesome. I do like I do like a cold house though, so I
yeah,
would be on board with you.
well,
Um,
yeah, it's just like it's funny that it's like always a cartoon Scooby-Doo house. It's like, ooh, what a drafty house. It's yeah, so yeah, some cheese
um,
I'm killing it.
for my third pick, I'm gonna go with is it's the draft that you wake up to that you didn't send the night before in your text
Ooh,
messages, like when you were drunk, but you
yes.
wake up, you're like, oh man, I made a good decision, but it's a really long text and you were ready to hit send, but you didn't. You didn't, and that is the best fucking draft in the world. So I'll take that in the third pick.
Classic.
Ryan's gone again.
No, he's here. You got this, Rye. Ryan's second third is
Blink twice,
her-
blink twice.
yeah, clap your hands if you see us, Ryan. Oh, buddy. If you're an audio listener, it's nope. Okay.
No.
You want to type in what you want, or you want to text? It's like when someone like when there's really offensive people. Oh, buddy. You know when there's
I
someone offensive and they're just like they can't see well and people talk louder and they're like, I can hear, I just can't see you. That was what just happened. Okay, so Ryan, we're gonna get you back on, right? At to want me to add.
we'll hope. We'll hope.
All right, am I back?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
You actually lost
All
the
right.
game already. Sorry. Anyway, Louis.
Throw out your two picks.
All right, my two picks. Okay. I'm gonna go with the draft of air from the Cheerios factory. Not from like an old house, drafty air. I think that counts, right?
Yeah,
Draft of air.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
It counts. Smells good. Cheerios factory downtown.
Sounds like you're
And
some
then
nice ideas.
and then I'm gonna go with the good old email draft. Just put a couple of thoughts in the email. Just store it in there. Yeah, I'm running out of draft ideas. If I don't have Louis took my underdog one, so
he came out with the two big ones, and then he failed late. So I don't know, Allie. We might come back here.
Literally just took our ideas and just found a better synonym for text with email.
Yeah, well,
I was like,
lucky. I literally almost did
Just a
draft
win.
doggy,
The
so
just a win.
that's perfect too.
you were the Timu version of our earlier picks, right
100.
there. I don't have a good one here, and I didn't want to be because Allie stole mine right off the bat with the thing, and I didn't want to be boring with just sports drafts, but because Ryan went out with the banger with the NFL draft, I do. There's one other draft that's always pretty exciting, and for me, that's the NHL draft is always fun. Always seems to be a lot of trades around that weekend, GMs together, stuff like that. All the players, especially in the last like 5 to 10 years, it's not like it was years ago where the players had like 7 years before they got in the league. Like now they, at least up front, like these guys are getting into the league pretty quickly. So yeah, I'll go NHL draft to finish off.
All right, and I love sponsors, and this is a one I would love to have for analytics or for the nerds, but DraftKings.
Oh, that is good. That's really good. That one should have been early.
Wait. For a clip with the number one pick.
Yeah, no, that would have been really good. Did it ruin my marriage? Maybe, but still wonderful pick and definitely deserves to be here. So, yeah, good job.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to Analytics for the Nerds. Ryan, we are very excited for your Wi-Fi to get to where it needs to be. Again, Blink twice if you can hear us. Again, everyone, thank you for listening to Analytics for the Nerds. If you are a person that's celebrating Easter this weekend, happy Easter. If you're Passover, have a good holiday, everyone. We'll see you next week at our regular time on Wednesdays. But thank you for listening to Analytics for the Nerds.
We didn't even talk about Katy Perry